people would go to, at the time it was Lord & Taylor, and would see a suit.
Sure.
It was a different brand, but like,
Sure.
I can get this at Lord & Taylor.
This
you
is
should.
the Grow Business Podcast.
Right.
Well, then you
with
should.
Cory Mosley.
Right. Don't threaten me.
Right. Like, what do you want me to do about it?
Correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. You want me to make my product cheaper,
My better brand
to
cheaper.
compete with the lower price brand.
Right, with the less.
So you can get the better brand at the cheaper price.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, you gotta respect. Well, as
ain't
the
mad
saying
at
is,
you
the
for
saying is
asking.
right. Respect the hustle. You gotta respect the attempt or the shot at it.
Right. I ain't mad at you for asking.
Right, exactly.
But I can also, don't get mad at me for saying no.
Right. No means no, and no means no. Right?
That's exactly.
I mean, that's the ball game.
That's
so,
right.
Now, a lot of people don't also, as the saying goes, if you don't ask, you can't receive.
Right.
So, Lewis Howes talks about this. I know you probably follow a little bit of his podcast or whatever. He talks about, I think I'm paraphrasing him. He talks about he likes to, if he goes up to a customer service rep or something like that, he always starts with, what are the chances that?
Yeah, I've heard him say
Right,
that.
yeah,
right.
yeah. What are the chances that there might be an upgrade available? What are the chances that? And he says, the worst they can say is no, or can't help you, or can't do it. But sometimes they can. And that approach, I don't remember who told me this a long time ago. It was just, I think Les Brown was talking about this.
Okay.
Folks, welcome to the podcast. We'll get to the opening in just a second.
I'll tell you a story about that too.
Yeah. That he was just talking about going to get upgraded.
Right.
Or he went to check in and they gave him a first class ticket, and he stalled. Are you? Well, thank you. Are you familiar with me? Have you read one of my books or anything? I'm like, no. And so he's like running down. He tells the story, of course, 10 times better. But he's running down the scenario of like these different options. Like, why did this happen?
Right.
And her answer was basically because she could.
Yeah.
And everybody can.
Right.
Or you never know what someone's ability is to enhance your day, enhance your experience, enhance whatever, from the janitor up to, maybe that janitor puts the nice toilet paper in your particular store area. I mean, right?
100%.
Because there's nothing worse than some rundown toilet paper in a place, right?
Yeah,
so
no, that's like sandpaper.
Yeah, that's aftermath and the aftermath. So
you talk about that. My dad, when I worked at United Airlines, my dad was flying to Hong Kong, and my parents were flying, and they got in at Dulles, and they were going to go to JFK and then fly to Hong Kong nonstop.
Sure.
And so at the counter at Dulles, my dad was like, "Well, and they were on a rewards and a mileage ticket,
right?"
And he goes, "Our son works at United. What's the chance we can get an upgrade to business class?" And she goes, "Well, you have to ask him at JFK." He got to JFK. Sure enough, got upgraded to business class all the way JFK to Hong Kong.
Wow, just because you worked there.
Well, because he asked.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked there was part of the ask, but
well, folks, if you want to tell out the age of a story, because that ain't happening today.
No, it was BC.
So yeah, this was
COVID.
Before COVID. Lon had hair. There was a lot. There's a full afro there. He had a whole coif.
Right.
Because you can't get upgraded. I can't get an upgrade from RIC to Atlanta. So Hong Kong, let alone Hong Kong. Well, folks. Welcome. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, don't fool. I promise you, we've got some good content coming up here, because you are at the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley, in the co-pilot, co-captain's chair is this not so young chap. But you're only as old as you feel. LG007, Lon Graham is here.
Voice of reason.
It's good to be here, Cory.
Yes. That's what you get for being late.
That's right.
You gotta catch it.
That's right. I've earned it.
Yeah, and the other guy doing pretty well. 4 minutes in, but the podcast is young. He's doing well. The tests went well earlier today. Willie H is here.
Hit the buttons, William.
Willie H, I have a question. Somebody said to me that they think you maybe you don't like being referred to as Willie H. Is that true?
Hold on, Buckaroo.
Oh, okay. So I guess he enjoys it. Well, I'll I'll let that person know to stay out of our business.
Right,
yes, because we know that you were referred to as the voice of reason recently as 100%. Well. I love it. I was talking to a business colleague the other day who, I don't know, I probably regret bringing this up now, but there's a context in our conversation when we're talking about deals that we refer to that he may have to, he talks about daddy. Okay. And what daddy's taste is and what daddy's taste of the deal is and whatever. And I was laughing. I regret it now, but I was laughing with him about it because it stuck. Like, it's something I said like a year ago that now when we talk about deals, like, oh, what's daddy looking for in this deal? And I just started laughing. I said, I love, because it was also after you had talked about your coach, your comedy coach called saying the voice, that you'll be the voice of reason. So I just love when stuff sticks. I really awesome. Do. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you. Thanks for joining us, LG. Thanks. Willie H is here. We're happy to have you. If this is your first time coming, welcome to the Grow Business Podcast, where you guessed it. We went for a self-explanatory title. Right.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
How can we make this obvious? Right. I mean, I could have gone with the Cory Mosley show, I suppose, but how can we make it more obvious for people who are searching for possibly some answers? So, Grow Business Podcast, committed to growing your business. We do this by exploring my 5 pillars of business growth. What are they, LG?
Mindset, marketing,
sales,
God, why
can't
operations,
you get these
and
in
people.
The right order? One more time.
Mindset, sales, marketing, operations, and people.
Thank you. Yes. I believe every business growth challenge falls under one of those categories, and really the key is to identify, isolate, and attack to grow your business. You can learn more about this, and this is heavily discussed in my latest book, Position for Growth, which I have a special announcement on. Woohoo! We are officially, you've got Amazon paperback. We are officially now on Kindle.
Oh my goodness.
So I got so many people like, oh, Cory, who's got time to carry around books? When are you going to have the Kindle? When do you have the Kindle? Right. So we officially have the Kindle right now. Yep. So you can go to Amazon.com.
Congratulations.
I'm less thrilled personally by the fact that if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read the book for free. So I was a little.
What'd you say about Daddy?
I'm like, I checked that box. Right. That you can check the box that makes it available to a wider audience and can do some of these 99-cent sales. But again, unless you're John Grisham or Kuntz or Clancy or Daniel Steele, or these people, you're putting out books to share your thought leadership, to share, or John Maxwell. I mean, he makes a lot of money doing books, but yeah, I saw that. I'm like, free. Undo. But nonetheless, it is available, and certainly appreciate you picking up a copy of it if you want to go deeper in this. It's a quick read. I don't believe I have trouble with books that are the size of the Iliad or the Odyssey. Right. So we do definitely get to the point directly. A lot of checklists, a lot of action items in there as well. So we encourage you to check that out. So having said that, today's show is going to be focused again around one of those pillars. LG has been failing miserably in the last several weeks.
Swinging and missing for sure.
On this, we did a double whammy. We merged them together. We're going to go back to a single. Okay. This week, I'm going to give you a shot.
Well, as I think about it, how about mindset?
Okay. So the good news is your streak continues. your streak of unpredictable, if this is your first visit to the show. Also, I intentionally do not tell LG what the topic is nor what pillar we're covering. Right, so he has zero preparation. So if he ever says anything that doesn't sound right, it's because he just got the topic right now. So he didn't even have it yet. He didn't have time. And funny enough, that was originally just because of the nature of how we did the show, like in terms of timing and when we did it, and really didn't have time to go over stuff. Right. But then it became enjoyable.
It became part of the deal.
Yeah, and you've been doing pretty good. So, so we're going to cover the people.
Okay.
category. I realized we hadn't done that in a while. We've done a lot of sales, marketing, and some other stuff, which is completely valuable. We want to try to hit all those areas,
right?
As we march to 100 episodes.
As we march to, and the Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, and the Rice Krispie. I like how you snuck that in. I don't know if I agreed to anything there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we made an agreement to that. Before I jump into that, I'm just curious on your thoughts on. There was a lot of frenzy last week relative to the draft,
right?
And I was just curious what your thoughts were on Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, look, I think Shedeur's talented, and I think there's a lot of things we don't know. What I do think is, I think it was a Bush League move by that defensive coordinator's kid that called in.
Oh, yeah,
that was a Bush League move.
That, yeah.
And here's my thought. My thought is,
but he's going to the
Browns.
Gotcha.
He's going to a spot that by all accounts has the opportunity to be a really good spot for him, a place to grow and develop and learn
in the future.
Right, over time, right.
Yeah.
My thought is this, is that he's high profile, his dad's high profile. One of the hard things for them is Travis Hunter got drafted early. He was number 2 pick. So Travis Hunter, so it was like, oh, we got Travis Hunter, now what about Shedeur? And my thought is this, is that it was something for people to talk about, to create controversy.
Right.
And I'm glad he got drafted.
Because a friend of mine pointed out, a friend of mine, Jamal, shout out to Jamal,
shout out,
pointed out that Brady went 100 and
Brady even went after him,
199th or something,
right?
Yeah,
6th round. Yep.
6th round, and we know how that worked out.
Well, my thought is he got drafted.
Right.
And he's super talented.
Mm-hmm.
And if he works hard, they put some pieces around him, then he may end up like Colonial Heights Chiefs one day. And
shout out to the Colonial Heights
Chiefs. They may go
Chiefs.
undefeated.
I was in Colonial Heights by accident a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Some friends wanted to go to the Sam's Club.
Okay.
And 35 minutes later, somehow we ended up.
You couldn't go to this one.
Well, we were in Chester. We were in a proximity that apparently worked better. So I found myself back near South Park Mall, my old stomping grounds.
Yeah. I was there last week.
Wait, South Park Mall?
No, Colonial Heights.
Okay, yeah,
sure.
Different.
It is
different than it was when I was there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that. Okay, those pictures look different. I've shown you the football photo.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's definitely different now.
It is indeed.
A little more diversity.
It's the other side of Chesterfield.
Slightly
It's the other
more.
side of Chesterfield
County.
County.
We'll put a pin in that to our international listeners. Look up Colonial Heights, do your history. Be for another episode. So, all right. Talking about people. So specifically, I want to get into how to get more out of your team.
Okay.
Right now, depending on, the economy, things that are happening, unfortunately, there's a lot of layoffs going on, and really business owners have to do more with less in a lot of different ways. I was, they're all covering the stories. Unfortunately, much of this is related to some of the tariff situations, and Guy was saying that they've had 20 employees for 20 years. They've maintained that level, give or take a few, and now, because of the impact, particularly with China, they're down to 5.
Wow.
They've had to let people go to even remotely stay in business.
Sure.
So we're in a situation where, we, and I suppose people have to know more and do more. If I look back at anybody that's ever been in the Mosley ecosystem in my 20 years, there's not a person that has ever worked for my organization or worked with my organization that did not leave with more skills than they came with.
Right.
So, and that's just the natural course of action. We people have to know how to do more than one thing, and you can certainly have your specialty, but there certainly is a benefit now to not. I don't want to go into the multitask mindset because many times that leaves you with a bunch of balls in the air, but multi-skill.
Right.
Scenario. So I want to give you some clear, strategies, and we're going to talk about that. And don't turn this off if you don't have employees, because this is applicable to if you're working with freelancers.
Correct.
If you're working with part-time people, if you're working with contractors, if you're hiring people off Fiverr, if your team is made up of freelancers or contractors or gig workers, so to speak, this is still the same scenario. And in fact, if you're in a virtual environment with your team, this is very important too, because you're extending an additional level of trust that everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it.
Right. And I will say to those people as well, Cory, the foundation of this podcast is about growth. It's to grow. So if you're listening to this and you grow your business, at some point you're going to need help, whether that's employees or contractors.
Nobody does it alone.
Right. So, yeah. So stick around because there's going to be something here for you.
Yeah. I wouldn't even, I've got a long-time guy I know that, he does a lot of video content and a lot of streaming of his shows. And, he's got his laptop and his setup and he's got his push buttons and everything there. And he's just running the deal by himself. I'd be terrified to bring the thing up here and, let me go to camera. Right. Where's camera 2 at? Go to 2, Willie. Or did I hit the wrong button? That was a signal. He's not picking up. That was a signal to go to 2. He didn't go to 2. That was a signal to go to 2. I'm still sitting there saying it. He still won't go to. Okay. Woo. All right. You can go back. You can take back control. Jesus H. Christ.
Well, I think,
I think he does it on purpose.
Wants to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, I was filming something the other day and I'm screaming, go wide, go wide, go wide. I'm making noises. I'm doing these things. And he's like, what? Go wide, go wide, go wide.
Well, for the people that are listening, we're in a studio. It's a 3-camera setup. We've got a monitor behind us.
Yeah, you should be watching. If you're not watching us on YouTube, we also stream on Spotify. So we stream in video on Spotify.
We'd love for you to check it out so that you get a better sense.
Just the intrigue, right? Of what are they talking about?
Like, what is that all?
Yeah. Maybe I wrote this list for Willie H. Let me run this by him. Number 1, set clear expectations up front.
Correct.
Define roles, responsibilities, deliverables, and deadlines early. And also lately, I've been into checklists.
Oh, okay.
So like this idea of a success checklist.
Okay.
Willie H. and I are talking about this. We want Willie H. drinking more water.
Yeah.
We don't think he drinks enough water during the day. So I said, I'm going to set up a checklist in the office. Like you have, like in Target, if you go in the restroom, they've got the board where they got to sign the time of the day.
Right,
I want to put a checklist on the wall so he's going to come in and make sure he's getting his water. I can't have people conking out in the middle of what we're doing, right?
No, we want.
You can't suffer from dehydration, especially as much as I pay for this 6-time filtered water my wife makes me keep in the office. So there's no reason we shouldn't be taking full advantage of that,
Yes, please.
So yeah, we're using these checklists.
Okay.
And it's something I've gotten excited about. We're about to release Position for Growth virtual training course on experience, and we're just finishing that now.
You're talking about that,
and it's chocked with every module has action items and checklists.
Okay. So even more than the book you've got.
Correct. Yeah, this is literally we've got 9 sections of the course that we've done based on the book.
Okay.
And each one has an action plan associated with a checklist, a scorecard for yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting. Just because it really crystallizes it's kind of like a franchise mindset, right? You're having that repetitiveness. I know you're a note taker, list guy, journaler, type thing. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the checklist does a couple of things for you. One thing it does is it creates consistency, and as you do things, if you have a checklist, just like a pilot's got a checklist before he gets on a plane or she gets on a plane,
right?
They do their walk around, they do their checklist, and they do it. A pilot's been flying for 30 years. They probably fly 100 plus flights a year, 100 segments a year. They do that a lot. So, but it's repetitive so that you can focus on identifying things that might be wrong. So the
fuselage doesn't fall apart because you didn't realize the bolt was missing.
Correct. That's exactly right. Yeah. So I like the idea of it. And what it also does is it liberates your mind to not worry so much about what you have to do.
Right.
It allows you've got a list that tells you what you have to do so you can be more creative. And I have this saying, like, I write to remember so I don't have to. So I can write something down. Because I write it down, I'm more likely to remember it, but it creates space for other things and other thoughts and other ideas. So the answer to your question is I love the idea of a checklist.
Voice of reason.
I figured you'd get something. I didn't know if it was going to be that or this might be a guy I want to work with. I don't know which one. I was trying to predict in my head what he was going to come up with. Yeah. All right, so number 2, communicate outcomes, not just tasks.
Yes.
So tell them why the task matters and what success looks like, not just what to do. And this is really particular, especially interesting from a freelancer and contractor position because many times they work best when they also understand the big picture.
Right.
And I will tell you that's something that I found annoying for a while, particularly with my web developer. It's been with me for, I think, 7, 8 years. You know, I would say I want XYZ done. And he's like, well, what's the context of this? Or what is the overall? I'm like, the overall is put this button here and drop this copy where I want. But I, you know, I've come around, you know, just in terms of that being part of the creative process. Also, his ability now, all these years later, to interpret things in a way that I'm not thinking about, but that I may need to know or I may want to consider.
Right. And ultimately, too, if they know what you're trying to accomplish, there may be a more effective way to do it so that you can accomplish even more than you're thinking about. I talk about, this one's really important, and I talk to sales leaders, when I talk to sales leaders about developing the people on your team, and I say it this way, you reach what you teach. Yeah. So if you teach people what to think and what to do, you're teaching them to become a semi-good version of you.
Sure. The fisherman.
Yeah. Idea. Or if you teach them how to think and how to develop for themselves, you say, this is what we're trying to accomplish. And here are ways that you can get better so that you can help us accomplish these in the best possible way. Right. You're developing them and you're going to get more, they're going to become better and you're going to get more out of them. So you're teaching them possibilities and you're teaching them how they can contribute to your organization in a better way. Yeah. Instead of saying, you have to do it my way. Correct. You say, here's what we're trying to accomplish, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah, and there's a lot of power in the why. I mean, obviously, we'll stick to people, but as we merge into sales, obviously, I've trained thousands of sales. I mean, for a decade, I did nothing but travel the country, training sales people and sales teams. And my premise was always, here's why. Yeah. So here's the technique, here's the strategy, here's the word track, here's why. Yeah. Because that little, it attaches to another part of the brain. It gets another part of your thinking process working. It gets you engaged in that process. And I think particularly when a situation is not working out the way you want it to work and you're doubting the process, really understanding the why, you know, creates a lot of, you know, magic, for 100%. Lack of a better word. But help me. Yeah. For sure. Okay. Next. Okay. Create a results-driven culture. Yes. So focus on results, not clocked hours. Reward completed outcomes and creative solutions, not just efforts.
Yes. Yeah. You want to reinforce the things that you want people to keep doing. Right. So if they're doing things that you like, reinforce those things, whether it be with compliments, whether it be with some rewards, whether it be with celebrations.
Hold on. Don't get ahead of the checklist, okay? Stick to create a results-driven culture. Focus on results, not hours clocked. Correct. Focus on that.
Yes. Yeah. And
like Willie H., he doesn't have a time clock.
No.
No time clock for him.
No, get the job done.
Yeah, he likes to stroll in, have his breakfast. Right. Have his granola and this. I mean, I'm working already for 3 hours. We want to make. But he comes in and, you know, has his breakfast and everything, and, you know.
I want to make time for him to get his
water.
What
do I say, Willie H.? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Let him get his sustenance.
Well, we want to make sure he's getting his water, too.
Yeah, well, that's become a priority. Right. I don't give a damn about his granola. Don't care if he gets his kefir or not. But water is what we need to sustain our lives. You can live 3 weeks without granola. Correct. 3 days without water. Right. So, yep. And I don't need to be corrected. I understand that's not exact. Please don't email me.
It was for effect.
You know, correct. You know, dudes, you got to tell people this stuff sometimes.
Yes, you do.
I mean, I asked somebody what the font was on their website. Okay. And they sent me a screenshot of the website.
Work with me, brother. Work with me.
I want you to think about that for a second. As opposed to telling me what the topography, what the font is called. Yeah, Lotto, Roboto, or whatever it is. Yeah, correct. Send me a picture of it. You know, you gotta, we were with some friends. I told them I was going to tell this story. I'm going to use it in the presentation actually, but
Okay.
We were with some friends over Easter.
Okay.
And big family gathering. And they sent their 17-year-old son to go get sugar.
Okay.
Now, you know, Domino's,
Right.
Domino bag of sugar, 5-pound bag. Everybody's had that in their house in your lifetime.
Gold,
Yeah, for sure. He comes back with cubes, a box of cubed sugar.
Okay.
This size, like, because that doesn't come in it's 1 pound of cubes.
Okay.
And we're all perplexed because you and I both know there's no chance you went into a supermarket anywhere in this country and they're out a 5-pound bag of Domino's sugar.
Correct.
That's just not how society works.
That's correct.
So we asked him why he, you know, what was the thought process here?
Sure.
And he said it said premium on it. And he figured my dad likes premium. So that should be the one.
Right. All right.
So I called them I said he went and got extended release sugar.
Lord have mercy.
It'll be Tuesday before the coffee gets sweet on a sugar cube.
Right. That sweet tea will take 2 weeks.
Yeah. Can you imagine banging around the sugar cubes in the iced tea? Huh? Just sitting at the bottom, just churning it.
Look like a rock in a glass
because
of
it said
bourbon.
Premium on it. Yeah, Lord have mercy. I think he played it. He hit the button, but I had to just, Lord have mercy again. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So next one. Use regular check-ins,
yes,
but don't micromanage. So short, schedule weekly or bi-weekly updates keeps everyone aligned without overwhelming them. And then go ahead, and I'll come back in with another point.
Well, I think the most important word about that regular check-ins is schedule. Here's what happens: you say, here's the outcome we're looking for.
Right.
Here's our timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's schedule check-ins because it reduces your likelihood of micromanaging. If you know you've got on the calendar once a week, you're going to check in with. The other thing it does for them is it reduces the amount of time they call you to say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? It liberates them to plan when you get together to check off all the things that they need to know. So it's also a time management tool.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
I like it. The other thing is also, in that check-in, in that process, are you looking at, what roadblocks can I help remove?
Correct.
Willie H. and I will have those conversations. Is there some software that we should be using? Is there something that he needs that we don't have or we're not using or could be done differently?
Right.
Let me know.
Yeah.
So
bring those ideas.
The answer could still be no. We ain't paying for that. But at least you got to I need to at least know it's available. So when I say, why can't we do X, Y, Z? And then he says, well, you didn't buy that thing I told you to get or that software. Right. So there you go, at least.
Well, go back to the beginning of this conversation. What's the chance we can?
Right.
What's the chance we can get that?
Yeah. Correct. So, and I think you have to be vigilant in that, and we'll have these team meetings where it's, What is the most effective way to do X? What is the way to eliminate bottlenecks? What is the way to do this? Like constantly challenging that to see if there's a refinement. Part of the reason why we can do, volume from a media standpoint, with our interviews and things is because that's dialed in. I mean, that thing goes boom, 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 and gets out the door. Otherwise, if it's all these different who's on first moments, nothing can get done,
Correct. Yep.
And that takes a team, and that some of those people overseas that we work with, some of them here, you're onshoring, offshoring, nearshoring. That's the new one. If you're not in the U.S. but you're close,
okay.
So if you're in Colombia, you could be nearshored. If you're working with people in Mexico, that's nearshore. That's the new term.
Okay, so that sounds like that's
outsourced.
Like there's a connective landmass.
Versus
having to go across water.
Yeah, not too far. We left America. But not really.
We might have left.
We left America, but you can get anywhere in 2 hours from Florida, right? like if you can get there in 2 hours from Miami International, it's near shore,
right? It might not be North America,
yeah, correct.
But it's still America,
correct. Yeah, there you go. It's America adjacent.
There you go. Perfect.
Yes.
Right.
We do business in the Gulf of America. All right. So, next up, provide tools. Oh, good. We were kind of talking about it. Yeah. Provide tools and resources for success. So don't always assume that your team has everything they need. Are there templates you can provide, examples you can provide, access to key people? When we work with our editing team, Willie H is very meticulous in terms of giving them examples, and I say over meticulous, but giving them examples of exactly what we're looking for, to limit the disconnection, because we don't have the luxury of just walking over to them and leaning over their shoulder, right? Because I know they would love that.
Well, and this is where providing guidance to what you're trying to accomplish allows you to draw on the expertise of that person or that team. Right. Well, because they know things you don't. You're the business owner. You can't know all the technical aspects of something. And that's why trying to tell them how to do it is just destructive or counterproductive either way. But this way, if you go to them, you say, okay, well, here's what we're trying to accomplish. What would make it easier for you to do that? What are some of the things that you would want to be able to do this more effectively and ultimately get a better outcome? Right.
No, 100%. I think I was having this conversation with our web developer, and he's like, oh, what? He's like, I changed this. What do you think? And I'm like, okay, why did we change? Oh, looks good, but why did we change it? Why should we go through the effort of changing it? Right. And not just preference, but was there some functional reason or whatever to do it? So really, that's just having that kind of conversation.
Sure.
As well. Okay. Got a few more. Make them feel part of something bigger.
Yeah.
Sharing wins, sharing milestones, even with contractors.
Right.
So they feel emotionally invested. Include them in small celebrations and updates. We work with some people who are overseas.
Right.
Some of them are, not exactly in the best areas. So we are checking in, seeing what's going on. And celebrate. Speaking of celebrate, we're celebrating Willie H.
Yeah.
Who's celebrating 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
With our studio and running the studio.
Wow.
So we're celebrating that. That just happened, Willie H. Give you he's got no idea. That's okay. That's my job to know these things. That's my job to know these things and recognize it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So we'll see what that's worth. Maybe a taco. Maybe we'll treat Willie H. Willie H to a taco and some water.
There you go. Some taco and some water.
No sweet tea.
No cube sugar.
Yeah, we're gonna get him. We're gonna put him on the water. But yeah, something. That's what I also love about the show here. It's like these are the things that are happening. Right, we're not in a vacuum. We're not in a bubble where it's like, oh, you should do that. Right. But this is a great opportunity to do exactly what we're saying. 100%. You should be doing with your people and your team.
Correct.
You better believe. Right. Exactly. We recognize we had some clients that had birthdays over the weekend recently. Shout out to Tim Brock, had a birthday. Longtime client of ours. It's not that hard to do.
Right.
It wasn't committed to memory. We've got these things called computers that have reminders. So if you just take the time to put the information in, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. It's repeatable.
Right. Although my older brother wished me a happy birthday.
Okay. From 24 or
the
one that's coming up?
My older brother wished me a happy birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, old head. That was his thing. And my response was, next month, brother.
Right.
My birthday's next month. So good. I guess I got an A for effort.
Hey, he's thinking about you.
Shows you how close we are.
Correct.
He definitely doesn't listen to podcasts, so he won't hear this. Thanks, Kyle.
He won't get hit by that bus. He got hit by that bus.
I got to give him credit for making an attempt to get my birthday right.
Yep.
Day was still wrong, so month was wrong and day was off. But I don't know what. He clearly is not on an iPhone. He probably is a Windows user. He's
transferring calendars on paper every week.
Who knows? In La La Land. Shout out to all residents of Pennsylvania, which is where he is. Definitely not the great relationship you have with your sister.
Correct.
Definitely different. I don't think she would get your birthday wrong by a month. Okay. Respect. Oh, I said share wins. Yep. Also include them in small celebrations and updates.
Right.
And then also the next one is respect their time and expertise. Again, this isn't one that is particularly close to freelancers and part-timers.
Right.
The key here is, try to avoid last minute chaos,
right?
Unless it's truly unavoidable. Also being professional, and that really builds loyalty even without formal employment ties.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to what we talked about earlier about timelines. When you structure meetings and you structure follow-up, it's easier to respect their time because you get regular updates on timing, on challenges, on things that you need to address differently.
Yep.
You're not doing things at the last minute. Your hair's not on fire. Fortunately, we don't have to necessarily worry about that. But the reality of it is you structure your time. When you schedule things, you respect their time and they respect yours, and it gives you the ability to get things out of the way or deal with things before it becomes an emergency.
Right. There you go. I like it. Okay, Willie H. Great. Freaking got nothing. Now I lost my train of thought, but obviously you think he'd fill in while I find it. Maybe he's got something that he can do. Good, Googa Mooga.
He was so ahead of everything in the first half of that.
I don't know what. He's on the internet over there. He's not. He's on YouTube or something. Who knows? Who knows what's going on?
Go get some water.
He's not hitting the buttons. Okay. Incentivized performance. You had talked about this. That's why I wanted to slow you down, because you started getting laying out all the bullet points, and we'd have a 22-minute podcast. Incentivized performance creatively.
Yes.
So that it's not always monetary, but that could be bonuses. It could be public recognition.
Correct.
Future product priority. Future project priority.
Right.
Particularly in competitive situations, or there's projects that we're working on that we may say, hey, let's offer this to this person first before we go out to other people.
Correct.
Referrals.
Yep.
Of course, and testimonials also go a long way.
Yeah.
Even a small surprise, even small surprise rewards can drive massive extra effort.
Yeah. Written, when you handwrite something, it has a different impact. It has a different. It just really it lands differently because it required effort.
Yeah,
and it required you to do it, whether they can read your handwriting or not. If you got handwriting that you need an interpreter, then use symbols.
Right.
Draw a smiley face or something.
Right.
But people really appreciate when you recognize that they've done something. When you say thank you. When you say thank you out loud. Maybe you buy them a gift card to a place that they go shopping.
Right.
Maybe you buy them some candy and just say, hey,
sure.
I put together in my day job, I put together a goodie bag. I was working with a front desk supervisor at one of the clinics here in town, and she went out of her way to figure something out. So I dropped off a couple days later. I dropped off a goodie bag with with a note,
right,
and then some candy, and just said thank you. And I just gave it to her.
Right.
I said thank you and gave it to her. She opened it up. About an hour later, I got a text from her. She goes, "You just made my day." That's
small gestures.
Well,
people underestimate.
It's an active gesture.
Yeah.
You had to. I did something. Sure. I went back to see her, put something together for her, and hand wrote a note.
Right.
And she's like, "That made my day."
Yeah.
And so, same thing for your people, right? Do something that you are active. And even if it's you go to them and say, hey, we want to celebrate Willie H. for what he did.
Right.
It's his 2-year anniversary. We want everybody to recognize that.
Get him a taco.
Be a guy I want to work with.
Get him a taco.
Tacos work.
All right, I love it. Okay, last two. Provide feedback.
Yes.
The right way. What was that? Willie H., is that a new button? Oh. Did he make a noise?
He had gas.
That was you, though, right? Did you just say something? That was very strange. Did you heard that?
I did.
No, I don't think it was gas. But it was like, what was that? Was that? Okay. Very weird, folks. Never know what's going to happen here. Okay. Provide feedback the right way. Give constructive, respectful feedback immediately after projects finish.
So
what I love, behold, if we comment, what I love is now my team will be like, I won't even see something.
Right.
Because be like, I know Cory's not gonna like this.
Right.
Like already.
Right.
What was that? Hit me again.
Stronger than oak.
Stronger than oak.
That's
Jerry
right.
Maguire. Yeah.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Well, we had this conversation before, and I'll say it again. I use the term guidance, and here's what I mean by that. You're talking about at the end of a project, I think along the way too, guidance is, and I use this like and learn philosophy. Here's what I like that you're doing. I want you to keep doing this.
Right.
Because it's good, it's effective, it's getting us going in the right direction. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I want you to, here's what we need to do differently to accomplish the goals that we're trying to accomplish. And you can use that after a project and say, here's what I like about the project. Here's what I like that you did to get us to the end of this project. What we've learned is the next time we do something like this, or the next time we have a project, here are the things we want to do differently. And I call it guidance because it's forward looking and it's to get better.
Gotcha.
As opposed to feedback. And I think about in terms of feedback, feedback is often presented in a negative way. And that's why, and it's interpreted as something that you did wrong, where unless you're breaking the rules or unless you're doing something immoral, unethical, or illegal, the reality of it is we're all doing things to try and get better.
Right.
So let's forward think and say, okay, next time we do this, these are the things that are going to give us a better outcome and get us closer to the direction that we want to go.
And conveniently, in my latest book, Position for Growth, we have a section in there called CAPI.
Yes.
Where I talk about celebrate, assess, plan, and implement.
Yes.
So the celebration part is very important
100%.
because it gives you opportunity to, in a constructive way to highlight what went well first.
Correct. Yes.
And then you can talk about what can be approved.
100%.
And I do this with coaching clients that, all right, before we talk about your problems or the deal we need to work through, or the deal points, or what's going on with the client, what went well?
Right.
Right. Oh, we brought in 2 new clients last week. I closed a deal I've been chasing for 3 months.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
Let's get that out of the way. Let's have that moment. Not get it out of the way, but let's have that moment first.
Right.
Because there's always going to be things to work on, always going to be things that can be improved in most cases.
Yeah, and I cut you off, but here's what I'll say, Cory, too. I say this, too often we want to coach. Too often I say this to leaders a lot, we want to do a lot of coaching because we think it's all about getting better. The reality of it is we've got to give credit first.
Sure.
And sometimes we've got to create more space between credit and coaching. Sometimes you just have to give credit. Right. And then you can come back and say, okay, now because if you stack coaching on top of credit, a lot of times what you do is you diminish the value of that credit.
Right.
And so make sure, and I love what you do with your clients is let's talk about our success. Let's talk about what we can feel good about. Because again, it reinforces that you're doing good things, and getting better doesn't mean you're not doing good things. It just means that there's more good things you can do.
That's right.
Voice of reason.
Whatever. What about what I said?
When the church say amen.
We're changing Lon's name. All right, last one.
People won't know what to call me.
Last one up. Treat them like business partners, not just hired hands.
Yeah.
Ask for their insights and opinions.
Correct.
Occasionally. That doesn't mean you put all the people you work with in charge of your business.
Right.
But have that aspect of it, particularly when you don't know everything. Many of the people in my orbit have specialties.
Correct.
So why would I not? You can ultimately, of course, control domain on the decision, but why would I not ask my web developer what he thought about a structure of the site, or where we should put a picture, or where we might how we might lay this out? Why would I not have them do the interpretation and then work through that process? It just makes sense. Right. So insights and opinions. Also, contractors and freelancers often bring value outside experience, often bring valuable outside experience. So don't be afraid to tap into that. Just because you've got the person that we had do our Kindle work also does promotional work
Correct.
with the product.
Correct.
So his statement was great. Here's your KPF file that you need for the formatting for Kindle.
Right.
What are you doing to promote it? We have some of those. We do offer some of those services.
Correct.
All right. Let me hear what you got.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to buy it.
Right.
But let me hear what you. I'm not going to ignore. Yeah. Okay. It's great. You did what I asked you to do. Now, had it been, yeah, we can do that, but we really should present you a whole package, then that might have been more of a problem for me, right? But I got the core thing done. He did the core job and said, hey, we also do a few other things.
Right.
All right. Let's have that conversation.
100%. Well, and it's here's how we can add to the value of the work that we've just done together. And here's the thing about especially freelancers and even people that you've hired from a different organization. They bring perspective and they bring examples of things other people have done that you're not aware of.
Correct.
So like your Kindle developer.
Maybe they worked on something. They did a project where somebody killed it. I want to know something similar.
Correct.
Yeah,
They're
correct.
working with other people and they can say, here's what we did with somebody else that really worked and it was a similar situation. What do you think?
Yeah.
And then you get to decide. It's still
That's right.
your decision.
100%.
Yep.
I love it.
Good.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Take some action, people. Go. I want everybody to hug their people right now.
That's right.
As soon as Willie H presses stop, I'm going to get him a glass of water and give him a hug.
And a taco.
And a taco.
A taco.
Probably ain't going to get that today. I got a lot going on. So
We'll
he'll be on his own and get him a voucher.
There you go.
I'll give him my punch card for the taco.
There you go.
See if we're at 11 tacos
Access
yet.
to your app.
Yeah. They still have a punch card, one of the places we go.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, like, do you have our rewards program? I'm like, no, let me give you my cell phone number. Nope, that's incorrect. Well, bam, pulls out the punch card and hits me with the pop, 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 3 punches for my meal today.
Right, I found some old coins.
I'm 9 punches away from a free side of queso.
I was going through some stuff the other day and I found some of
punch
these
cards?
wooden dollar coins from the cigar shop down the street.
Okay.
And they would give out you buy cigars and they'd give you credits for every so many dollars that you spend.
You're talking about 3 Chop on 3 Chop?
Over by the short pump. Over by the Barnes and Noble. Right
okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. We're not giving out free.
No, we're not.
We're not giving out free plugs.
Free
I know what you're talking about.
That's exactly right.
HC over there.
100%.
Yeah. But even they've upped now. They've got the loyalty program now that's in the system.
They do. But,
because they were punch cards and they were. Yeah. So good. Business should evolve. So I'm glad to see that. Probably need to tell the taco place that. Because daddy don't know what a punch card is. But they got no time to carry punch cards around in their wallet.
Carries a wallet now.
Just saying, right?
Right.
All right, there it is.
Yeah.
Go get productive. Go reach out to your people. Get some stuff in action as an action item there.
Yep. Pick one thing. We talked about a lot of things today. Pick one. And then,
but eventually get to them all.
Well, right.
It's not that hard.
No.
You just got to pay attention.
Right.
And give some priority to it for sure.
Right. Instead of trying to do them all at once, pick one now.
Yeah.
Come back and listen to the episode again. Because
there you go.
There's always, the beauty of the podcast is you can re-listen.
Buy a book.
Yeah.
And as my friend Willie Jolly says, buy 2. One for you and one for a friend or colleague that can use it.
100%.
All right. I think we're going to leave it there, LG007. We'll give them your message.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. And next time, bring a friend.
That's right. We love it. We love to have you here. Thank you for joining us. If you're your first time, we want to see you next week. If you're a longtime follower, we thank you for your followership.
100%.
And hope we're continuing to help you and provide value. This has been another episode of the Grow Business Podcast. On behalf of myself, Cory Mosley, LG007, Lon Graham, and Willie H., we'll see you next time. Willie H., take us out.
Wow. It's hard to believe you said that. Willie H's anniversary.
Yeah.
We're right around that time where it was a 2-year anniversary. We had the open house for the studio.
Yes. Yeah.
Same time, beginning of the month. Yeah.
All those looky-loos.
All those looky-loos. There were a lot of looky-loos.
All those looky-loos. Get the newsletter. All those looky-loos. We love the looky-loos. Yeah. We love them.
Yep, we do.
I didn't even read about that Sanders thing till today.
Oh, yeah.
About the crank phone call or whatever.
Yeah, my buddy.